Hello, everybody. It's Kelvin Shaw here, your business and career growth consultant. And we are back with another business growth moment interview. Let's give snaps. And I have not only a special guest, but a great friend that's going to be sharing some outstanding insights. Today, we're going to be talking about finding your purpose in your career and business. And we are joined by outstanding entrepreneur and human being, a leader. His name is Philip Harding, and he's a former senior advisor to the US federal government. He served from the Pentagon to the White House and launched a great program called the Great Pitch, which has invested over $16 million in good for government ideas. He also has an undergraduate and graduate studies at Harvard, where he was elected the university-wide student president and gave a commencement speech called Go Serve the World with Passion. So I'm telling you, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to this. He's the co-founder of Impact Junkie. He's a serial social entrepreneur, impact investor, global speaker, and adventurous doer. So Philip, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thanks, Kelvin. Great to be here.
Excellent. So we're going to jump right into this because we have a limited time to give so much insight to our viewers. So when it comes to the topic of passion or finding your passion in your business or career, is it possible to find and leverage your life purpose in your career and in your business? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks, Kelvin. I think you're right on. I think it's not only possible, I think it's necessary. And you need to find your life purpose before heading out on this journey. And I tell all of our staff members and our partners, I don't want to work with you if this is not what you truly feel called to do. Let's not waste our time. Let's not, just be doing something to get a paycheck. Let's do something that really is in line with what you're meant to do. And once you unlock that, both from an internal and external perspective, internally, you get that motivation because those tough days are going to come. It's not all going to be beautiful roses. There's going to be challenges, but if it's rooted in something deeper, it's a lot easier to get up and to keep fighting, to keep pushing, to keep moving forward because you know this is what you're truly called to do. And then externally, it's going to shine through. If you're trying to get buy-in from partners, coworkers, from leadership, from investors, business partnerships, that it's going to shine through. And people are going to say, I want to invest in you. I want to be part of what you're doing because I see you're not going to give up no matter what comes your way because it's rooted in something deeper.
Wow. You said a lot there in that's very impactful. And that sparks a thought in my mind. Why is it important in terms of finding your purpose within the confines of your work environment, your career, your business? What would you say to that?
So I'll start with Steve Jobs, the co-founder, CEO of Apple. His last words, according to his sister, when she gave his eulogy, his last three words were, "Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow."
Oh, wow.
And after all he did, after all he accomplished in business, right, as much as he transformed the world through his ideas, it still came down to that last moment. Mm-hmm. And this feeling of awe. And was he reflecting on, wow, this is really the end? Was he getting a glimpse into the future? And there's a lot we can talk about, but it boils down to this. And we talk about this a lot in the sessions I do, is the days of your life. When you think about it, you've got about 29,000 days. If you live to be about 80 years old, you get about 29,000 days. And then you've got to subtract a lot of days. You've got to subtract 8 hours a day for sleeping, approximately, right? So you got a third of the days are gone right there. You got to subtract a lot of days for education. You got to subtract for your work. You got to subtract for chores. You got to subtract for TV, social media. You got to subtract for using the restroom. Over a year of your life, you're going to spend using the restroom. over a year of your life sitting in traffic. And then you subtract all those days and you're left with about 5,000 days, 5,000 days that you have. And that can either overwhelm you or inspire you. And I hope it inspires you to realize I have to make the most of every day that I've been given. And so when you're asking about like, why is it important? Every day, right? Imagine if you could add in back some of those days to the meaningful days of your life. What if you didn't have to subtract your education? What if you didn't have to subtract the work that you're doing? What if you didn't have to subtract these things from your meaningful days? And I talk a lot about entrepreneurship and being smarter in business. What if even while you're sleeping, right, these things that you're doing are adding to the meaningful days of your life, and you get all those days back? That's a wow to think about.
That's not a light lunch to think about. And it's like we have to be taught to number our days, literally, to really make sure that every day we're truly making an impact on the world. And I love the insights that you're sharing, Philip. So now I'm thinking about the listener, somebody that's watching this right now. How can they make an impact on the world within the confines of their career or business? Like right now, what kind of steps would they take? What would you suggest for them to start the journey of really looking at what the purpose of all this is?
That's a great question, Kelvin. And that's where so many people are. And I've been so blessed and fortunate to work with so many people around the world in over 30 countries to help turn that frustration or the needs you see in the world around you, turn that into action. Right. And there's a systematic way to go about it. When you look at the world, there's a lot of big problems. You could talk about access to clean water. We could talk about suicides, and that 27 suicides every day in the United States alone are active and retired military. We can talk about the billions who don't have access to basic shelter or financial services. And there's so many needs. You don't have to look around the world. You can look in your own community and find really big needs. The question is like, well, how are you going to do something about it, right? So we have an exercise we start with. One of the exercises is starting with you and the chapters of your life. And we really take time to look back the way this thing was made, right? You can understand the past, but you can't quite understand the future. You can learn from the past. You can look back into the past, but you can't quite see the future, but you can use the past to help you look into the future. Right. So when you're so we start with the chapters of your life and then developing out your BHAP, your big, hairy, audacious problem. What is that big problem that I'm uniquely prepared to solve? And it boils down to this statement that we help people through is I want to help blank, the who, to what, with the blank, which is the what, to because, and this is your personal why. And so that statement is a starting point, but it's also an overarching driver beyond just what career do I have? What job do I have? What is my business about? But it's overarching. It's bigger than that. And so that's the place that we start.
Say that line again. How do I help? I want the viewers to catch that. Say it quickly. How do I help?
Yeah, we call it the BHAP statement. It's I want to help blank to blank because blank. So it's I want to help who to what because why. And this is your why, your own personal why. And so by going through these exercises, we pull that out, and I have a workshop that you can join, and I offer it for you that you can actually go through this and document, write it out yourself.
Right. Well, we have a few more seconds here really but we can't stop this right now. I love that. And we'll speak to this at the end of the episode, how people can get in touch with you if they want to go through that to find the who, what, why. But how have you been able to make a personal example? How have you been able to make an impact on the world in business, in entrepreneurship? Give maybe a quick snippet of your story and some of the intangible and tangible results and impact that you've seen in your life so far.
Well, I look at all these pictures. So this is a real background. This is not just a fake background. These are all images of real people that have been a part of my story. I've been able to be a part of their story. And that's how I measure impact, is what lives are being changed. And whenever I have those difficult days, those dark days, I can look at these images and they're cheering and saying, don't stop, don't give up. And that drives me on forward. And allows me to maximize every day. But I've been fortunate to help people move, and myself, I've gone through this to help people move from I can't do that to I want to do that to I can't believe I just did that. And so it leads to a lot of these crazy intentional experiences where it seems like crazy. I'm out of my comfort zone, but this is exactly what I meant to do. And so I've gone through that same journey. And you mentioned the speech at Harvard and saying, let's go serve the world with passion, to going to work in government and finding myself sort of wanting this comfortable career, the golden handcuffs, the salary, but feeling like there was still more out there that I needed to do, and start and making that crazy jump to standing 3 years later in the mud in Haiti, launching our very first clean water venture. And that was 3 years to the exact date that I gave that speech at Harvard. And I didn't realize till later. And we call those God nods, those moments where you absolutely know, like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing now. And faith is a big motivator for me, and being a driving factor in what I do. And it's bigger than just having a business, having a company, having a job. But when you really can sync up that purpose that we're talking about, your passion, purpose, and calling, you're never the same. You get up every day saying, I can't believe I get to do this. This is so exciting. It's not, I can't ever say I'm looking forward to the weekend. Like, that whole mentality just doesn't make sense when you have that connected, when you're really on fire and like, this is what I meant to do. So how I measure success, you can look at like the millions. We've had over 250 million in deal flow that we've generated in impact projects around the world. A couple million we put into projects already. We can talk about the thousands that have been trained and gone through our programs. We can talk about the countries and the governments we've worked. But those are all really means to the end. When you say, how do you measure impact? It's the lives that are being changed. And so that's really how I measure it. And that's why I try to remind myself have all these images and all these lives that are part of this beautiful story.
That's amazing. And Philip, you are the exact example of that. And I subscribe to that. I never feel like I've worked a day in my life because I understand the who, the what, the why behind all of these pieces. And it is possible to have your passion in your career, in your business. I don't subscribe to the or, it's this or that. It's and. We can have both. And really, we have to have both if we're going to only have 5,000 days to make an impact. So we're going to close off here. Thanks so much for watching this. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what you're trying to do in terms of your passion. And Philip, one more thing. If somebody wants to start this journey and maybe they want some insight from you, where can they go to find you, or maybe even to do this test of the big, hairy, audacious goal?
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
Go to impactjunkie.co to get started. You can go to philipharding.com and get started. We're just hooked. It's a community of crazy impact junkies who made that jump. That's where it started, with a personal drive. And now it's opened up to thousands around the world who say, I want to do more with what I've been given. And so you can join, be part of this awesome, crazy community. Go on a trip. Maybe you find yourself in a jungle, sleeping overnight in a jungle. Who knows where you're going to find yourself doing some really cool things, living out your purpose.
Outstanding. Thanks everybody for joining us. This has been another outstanding business growth moment. See you next time.